Good morning. I'm fine. How are you?
Good, good. Um,
Okay, so how's the practice going?
that's the thing. I just haven't in the last 24 hours had time to do questions because now I have questions from number properties that I have to finish and then do algebra. So it's a little slow. Hopefully, in the next few days, I'll be able to I'm actually leaving for India tomorrow morning.
Okay.
So just been busy getting stuff done for that. But I have to practice simultaneously.
Yeah, that's right. And what were we doing last time?
We were doing algebra. Basically, where did we stop? Let me check. It was I just have to check. 'Cause I didn't have time to even go over the recording. That's what I usually do. Just give me 1 minute. Sorry. Um. Oh, we had the question where you had RQP. You know the question where it's x plus z is equal to 160, y plus z is 120, x plus y is 80. Three equations. There was a question from OG.
Yeah, I got it. So that was linear equations. So did we start with quadratic?
No.
Okay, fine. So let's start with quadratic.
Also, you have
Okay.
to connect the verbal person.
Oh, sorry, I forgot to send you an email. Let me do it. I'll do it right after our session.
Yeah. Just I'll remind you.
Yeah, sure. Can you see the screen?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so what do you understand by quadratic?
I guess the degree is 2. The highest degree. Yeah, the degree is 2.
Yes, the quadratic means degree 2 equations. Okay, now degree 2 means what?
I guess the highest power of x.
Yes, that is right. So it refers to the maximum number of solutions we can have.
Yeah.
Degree 2 means we can have a maximum of 2 solutions. We can have one or we can have no solution at all. But if we have solution, then maximum it will be 2 in number.
Oh, you mean, okay, so we can have 0, 1, maximum 2.
Yes. Usually it is 2, but for example, now let's say the equation is ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0. Now, how do you solve this equation?
So you do it that the uh, sum and product you take, and then you expand the equation using break bx down into b1 and b2, and then take x common.
So one way is factorization, and second is by using the quadratic formula. Now, quadratic formula is where we get two roots of the equation. For example, x is, if this is the equation, then x is negative b plus minus b square minus 4ac divided by 2a. So plus or minus indicates two different solutions. Once we will add and once we will subtract.
Mm.
So we will have two different solutions. Solutions are also referred to as roots of the equation.
Roots of the equation.
Yes. Okay. Now, why do we say we can have a maximum of two solutions? Consider that the value inside the square root, that is b square minus 4ac, is known as discriminant. Now, this value can be negative depending on the values of a, b, and c. If discriminant is negative, then we will have negative value inside the square root. And when such a scenario exists, then we will not have any real solution. So if we have a negative value inside the square root, we may have zero solutions or zero real solutions. Or we say we do not have any real solution.
Okay.
Okay. Now, for example, if we have an equation 2x square minus 10x or instead of 2, let's make it 3. 3x square minus 10x minus 8 is equal to 0. How will you solve this equation by using factorization? Factorization is the process in which we convert the quadratic equation into x minus alpha and x minus beta.
I mean, I guess you'd start with dividing by 3 to get rid of the coefficient of x square. But like, I feel like that will complicate it. Or you leave it in the form of the fraction, like in the sense that it becomes x square minus 10x by 3 minus 8x, 8 by 3. I don't know.
Yeah, working with fractions actually will cause a lot of trouble.
Hmm.
So, in order to factorize this, we follow a series of steps. Step 1 is to calculate the value of a times c. For example, we can compare this equation ax square plus bx plus c equals to 0. If we compare it with this, in this scenario, A is 3 and C is negative 8.
Yeah.
So A times C will become
Negative.
negative 24.
Yeah.
Now we need to split the middle term, that is the term containing x,
Yes.
split the x term in two parts such that
The product will give you minus 24.
b1 and b2 may be such that b1 plus b2 is equal to b and b1 times b2 is equal to a times c.
AC, yeah. So like minus 6 and minus. Sorry. Yeah. Uh, hmm. Mine you need negative 24. So 6 fours are 24. And
6 4s are 24, but we have to get negative 24. If we do negative 6 and negative 4, we will get a positive value.
12 and 2.
12 and 2, perfect. In
Minus
this case,
12 plus 2.
yes. So b1 plus b2 will give negative 10 and b1 times b2 will give you negative 24. So we get 3x square minus 12x plus 2x minus 8 equals to 0. Now, next step is to take whatever you take, you can take common. So here we can take 3x common. So we will get x minus 4. And in the next two terms, we can take 2 common. We will again get x minus 4. Now we have these two terms.
3x plus 2 and x minus 4
Correct. So x minus 4 times 3x plus 2.
is equal to 0.
Now
And
what does this represent? Product of two numbers and we are getting 0.
yeah,
Product of two numbers equal to 0 means one of the numbers has to be 0.
yeah.
So either x minus 4 is equal to 0 or
Or
3x
yeah,
plus 2
plus
is
2
equal to 0.
x is equal to 4 or x is equal to minus 2 by 3.
Very good.
Okay, so basically the main thing to learn in that is that it's a product of A and C, not just C. I've been thinking it's only,
Yes.
yeah.
This is clear?
Yeah.
Second is how to use the quadratic formula. Now, for example, the same terms, the same equation, 3x square minus 10x minus 8 equal to 0. How can we use the quadratic formula to solve this?
I guess we can substitute values in the formula. So it will give me, so b is equal to, in this case, minus 10. So it becomes 10 plus minus root over b square is minus 10 square, which is equal to 100. Minus 4 into a is 3 and c is equal to minus 8 by 6. So 10 plus minus root over 100. 10 plus minus root over 190. 14 12. Yep. So it becomes 10 plus 14 by 6 or 10 minus 14 by 6. Values of x equal to 20 by 6 and 4 by 6 minus 2 by 3 or 4.
Yes. So we get 4 and negative 2 by 3.
Yeah.
Okay. Now that is fine. Now discriminant that we discussed
Yeah.
is b square minus 4ac. Now, what can you tell about the nature of the roots by knowing the value of this discriminant? If d is equal to 0, what can you tell about the roots of the equation?
Then there's only one solution.
Correct. That means since d is equal to 0, we have only one solution. And if d is a positive value,
Then we have two solutions.
then we have two solutions. Now in this, we can maybe may have d as a perfect square and d not a perfect square. If d is a perfect square, then roots are rational and distinct. And if d is not a perfect square, then roots are irrational.
Which means that do they still fall under the root in this case, right? Basically.
Yes, yes,
Like
correct.
4 root 2, 4 root 3 or whatever or something. Yeah.
Yes, yes, correct. And what if d is less than 0?
Yeah, this you said earlier that there will not be any real solutions.
Yes, right?
Yep.
Okay. Now, let's say we get two different roots by using the quadratic formula or whatever way. Roots are basically the solution of the equation. That is x minus alpha times x minus beta. This is a quadratic equation.
Mm.
If we open the brackets, we will get x square minus alpha times x minus beta times x plus alpha beta equals to 0.
Yeah.
Or we can say x square minus alpha plus beta times x plus alpha beta, where alpha and beta represent the roots of the equation. This we can say is alpha plus beta means sum of the roots and alpha beta is product of the roots. So if we know the sum of the roots or the product of the roots, then we can frame the equation as well. Now, if we compare this equation with this, ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0. Now, only difference from here to here is that we do not have any coefficient of x square. So we can divide this equation by a. We will get x square plus B over A times X plus C over A equals to 0.
Yeah.
Now we can compare the two and we can figure out what is the sum of the roots and what is the product of the roots.
Mm-hmm.
Minus S represents B over A. That means S is equal to negative B over A, and P represents the product of the roots. So product of the roots is equal to C over A. Shall I erase?
Sorry?
Shall I erase?
Yeah, yeah, written it down.
Okay. Okay. How will you do question number 99? It's a data sufficiency problem.
Okay, so the question is the product of the roots less than 0? Isn't B sufficient?
Yes, that is right. Statement 2 is sufficient to answer the question because product of the roots is dependent on the value of C and A.
But what happens if A is a negative number?
But if you compare the equation given to us, A is equal to 1.
Okay, okay, okay. So you can make that assumption. Okay,
Yes.
clearly. Okay. So, but if A was negative,
Yeah. So if there is an A here, then it depends on the value of both C and A.
C and A. Okay.
That is correct. Okay. How will you do question number 45?
Can you just go to question 32 1 second? Sorry.
Yep.
I've been marking the questions that I'm just a little. Yeah, what is this question? Sorry to like go off topic, but we can discuss it later. I was a little confused
Okay.
by what that
So,
meant.
so we are given that if the quotient A over B is positive, which of the following must be true? So A over B will give you some value. A over B is represents what? It
Hello? Hello?
represents
I can't hear you.
that
Hello? Hmm. Hello? Hello? I don't know if we should restart the session, but I don't think I can hear you. Hello? Mm. Hello? 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 I think okay, I think I need to. I can't hear you. Um, Hello?
Hello.
Yes.
Okay. Can you see the screen?
Um, yes, now I can. Yeah, so it was, we were just talking about what the quotient question.
Yeah. So basically, it is that when we divide one number by another, there are in every second question ask gives you something like AB equal to 0, AB not equal to 0, AB greater than 0, AB less than 0, A over B greater than 0, A over B less than 0. So this question is basically A over B greater than 0, positive.
Yeah.
What can you infer from this?
That the if that AB has to be greater than zero.
Yes, that's right. So this means that either both the numbers are positive or both the numbers are negative,
Oh,
which is actually given by this as well.
yeah.
So it should be C.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was C. I understood the concept that A by B is positive, so A into B will be greater than zero. But I just didn't understand why the question said if the quotient A by B is positive. I was like,
So
oh, this.
quotient is just to make sure they just want to confuse you at some point or the other.
Yeah,
So
I was like, oh, are we talking about divisor, quotient, remainder, or are we just talking about two numbers who are divided and it's positive? So that's fine.
yeah,
Okay, then.
okay, yeah. This question 45.
-7.
Yes, that is right. So it is basically you just have to find the value of k first, and once you have the value of k, then you have to find the roots of the equation.
Yeah.
Correct. Okay. What about question number 99?
They both share the solution -1/2.
Yes, that is right. So we just don't know from this first equation, we know either the solution is 0 or -1/2. From second, the solution could be either -1/2 or +3/2.
Yeah.
So we don't know which value is actually applicable for x.
Mm.
When we combine both the statements, both are given equal to 0. So x cannot be 0 and x 3/2 in order to satisfy both the equations. So it has to be 1/2, -1/2.
-1/2.
Correct. Okay. Yeah, this question number 127. This is again a standard question type on GMAT, asked very frequently.
137.
Yes.
Oh, so you just equate t plus 4 into w minus 2 is equal to 360. 336.
Yes.
And then what was the time? What's the time? Individual question mark. And w into t is also equal to 336, right?
Yes, that is right.
Mm, I may be doing a longer method, so I think that's the problem, but give me one.
How are you trying this?
Um, yeah, how am I supposed to do this fast enough? Because I think I've complicated it. I mean, I got the I got two equations. One is t plus 4 into w minus 2 is equal to 336, and the other one is t w is equal to 336.
Hmm.
But then I complicated it by putting t w as 336 in that other equation and got like,
So even if you do that, you will still not be able to eliminate one variable.
yeah, because all the answers can be uh, can be t when you take the LCM of 336.
True.
Yeah, it's
So another way is, for example, hourly rate is R and the number of hours is N. This is 336 and number of hours, if he took 4 hours, the rate drops by $2.
yeah.
That is also 336. So if you put R into N by opening the brackets and the term R into N, if you put 336, you will still have in the same equation R as well as N. Actually will not eliminate. Now since you have to find the number of hours, N, so put the value of R as 336 over N in the second equation.
Okay.
336 by N minus 2 times N plus 4 equals to 336. Now we know that we have one equation and one variable N.
Yeah. And n was you had put n as the time, right?
Yes, number of hours. Correct. You have to solve this quadratic.
Hmm. 336 by n into n is equal to 6 plus 4 into 336 by n minus 2n minus 8 is equal to 336. Three, three, six. So I'm getting minus n square minus 4n plus 2 into 336 is equal to 0.
Minus n square minus 4n plus 2 into 336.
Hmm.
2 into 336 is 300, 36 into
Yes.
272. So we can multiply this by negative 1. We will get n square plus 4n
N square plus 4
minus 672.
is equal to 0. 72 is a product.
It should be in 20s
Yeah,
because 24 is 625.
square 12 and then 2 168 284.
It should be 28 and 24 because 4 into 8 ends in a 2. So we will get n plus 28 times n minus 24. We have to figure out the positive
Yeah, 24 and 28.
negative 28.
Yeah, minus 28 and positive 20.
Correct.
Yeah, yeah, 28 minus 4.
Now, based on all this, what do you think be an easier way of solving this? Because obviously, this way is time consuming and error prone as well.
Mm. I mean, I guess even that,
Now,
like, I don't know actually.
so actually, it is that we have to identify the product of two numbers, 336,
Yeah,
and then in such a way that the product of another two set of numbers where
yeah,
one number is increased by 4. So
yeah,
maybe AB is this
and then
and
there's
A
A
plus
plus 4
4
and
times B minus 2.
yes,
Now we can clearly see that this is a standard question type. There are a few more questions like this in official guide. So this is a standard question type. The moment we see this, we know it will take a very long time. So we always prefer to avoid quadratic. So we have to go back and look at the answer choices.
yeah,
Which answer choices work effectively? Now we see that 336 ends with a 6. So we have to check which of the answer choices actually, if we find the product, will end with a 6. So 2 into 8 with a 6, 4 into 4 will end with a 6. So we can quickly check whether this product is actually giving 336. So 14 into 4, 56, 5 carry, 28 plus 5, 336.
yeah,
This is correct. Then 28 into 12, 12 times 8 is 96, 9 carry, 24 plus 9 is 336. Again, satisfying.
mm,
Now, we found the two pairs, but we have to check for these conditions as well.
yeah,
One number is increased by 4. So 24 is increased by 4 and another number is decreased by 2. Now, what number is increased by 4? Hours increased by 4 and rate decreased by 2.
Decreased by
So
2.
we see question is asking, they are asking for hours. That means 24 should be the answer,
Okay. Hmm.
right?
Oh, so we noticed that 21st become 28 and 14 has become 12.
Yes. So that's how we can distinguish actually what is to be found and what should be the value of that. Does this make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Questions like this. Now you can see, I'll show you another question. You will see the difference between these questions. So it's not that in every question we can use the same logic. For example, question number 203. Very similar question, but the answer choices are not that helpful.
Okay, let me just at least write the equations down.
Yeah, that you anyways have to do because you have to verify that.
Question 203. Oh, so P into N is 120 and P plus 1 into N minus 10 is 120.
Correct.
Okay. And then what is the question is P, what is P? P equal to question. So find two numbers that you so are we just trying it and trying this?
So here the answer choices are not that helpful. So we have to plug in the values from here to here. We can use now. This is clearly again the same question type.
Yeah.
We have to form a quadratic, which is
Acha.
actually difficult. So we put the now this is the current price that it is asked. So current price is P. If we put 1 in place of P, we will get number of towels as 120. And if I increase the price, that is P plus 1 will become 2. So 2 into number of towels should be 110. But 2 into 110 will give me 220, not 120. So 1 is ruled out.
Oh, so you're substituting. Okay.
Yes. 2 again you can put. So if you put P is equal to 2, N will be equal to 60. And for P plus 1 becomes 3. N 50, but N is not 50. N is here 40. So again, this is ruled out. And if P is equal to 3, N is 40, And if I increase the value of p by 1, I will get n is equal to 30, which is the condition. The difference between n is 10. So this should be the right value.
Yeah.
This makes sense?
Yeah.
So based on what is we have to figure out what is the best way of solving the question. We should always avoid forming quadratic. It's not that we cannot solve, but it will take a lot of time.
Yeah. That's what it seems like.
Okay. Now question number 157. 157 is a question type that is test frequency. In this, we are given an expression which is the value of which is to be found, and we are also given an equation. Based on that, we have to find the value. Usually, if we let's see, if we try and solve this equation, we will get 4 minus x is equal to 2x plus x square. If we cross multiply,
Mm.
and x square plus 3x minus 4 is equal to 0 is the equation. Now you see what is the value of x square plus 3x minus 4. So they always give an equation in which we can easily calculate the value of expression or
Yeah.
figure out.
Minus 4 and 1.
No,
Oh.
the value of expression, it is 0.
Oh, okay, okay.
So they will ask to find the value expression, and that is something that you can easily do. Even if of this, if they ask the value of the expression for 3x plus 4, then we have the value of 3x minus 4. We can add 8 both sides. So we will get x square plus 3x plus 4 equals to 8. Right?
So they basically given us the value from the first
Yes.
equation.
So they will give us an equation, and based on equation, we have to figure out the value of the expression.
Mm.
This makes sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Now we also discussed that the number of roots may vary depending on the scenario given to us. Now let's try a simple question first. X square minus 4 over x minus 2 is equal to 4. The question is solve for x. So we are given 5 options: plus 2, minus 2, plus 4, 0, and cannot be determined.
So b square minus 4ac is 0.
Hmm.
So is it 2?
Number A?
Yeah.
No.
Hmm. Yeah, it isn't. Solving. Oh, 2 minus 2.
No.
Really? How isn't, aren't you getting x square minus 4x plus 4 is equal to 0? So x square minus 2x minus 2x plus 4 is equal to 0. Product of two numbers 4 minus 2 into minus 2. X minus 2 square is equal to 0. X is equal to, so x is equal to 2.
That you should get.
Yeah, but I got that earlier.
Yeah. So that is fine. But how did you get minus 2?
No, no, but I got 2 earlier.
Yeah, I understand you got 2 earlier. I'm just trying to figure out how did you get minus 2?
Oh no, minus 2 I got because when I did x minus 2 square is equal to 0, I said it minus 2 as,
Okay.
yeah, but I
No.
got 2
So
earlier.
that is right.
Yeah,
So you will get this. But the moment you put the value back to the equation given to you, what will you get? 2 square minus 4 over 2 minus 2
yeah,
is equal to 4. That is 4 minus 4 over 2 minus 2,
yeah,
or 0 over 0.
yeah,
This is not possible.
yeah.
So that is why it cannot be determined.
Okay.
They can also say no real solution. Right?
Hmm. Why is it no real solution? Because
Because you are
I
getting
understand, but I like, oh, so I have to put the value of x into the equation and then see what I'm getting.
you shouldn't be doing that. Actually, the process is whenever you are given an equation and you are asked to find the value of x. So first thing that you have to do is check if there is any denominator. If the answer to this question is yes, in case of no, you can solve the and get the answer.
If there is any denominator in what? The question or in
If the denominator in the expression or
expression?
equation given. Now, if the answer to this question, if there is no denominator, you can solve and get the answer. But if there is a denominator, then you have to check if there are any variables in the denominator. Yes and no. If the answer to this question is no, solve and get the answer. If the answer to this is yes, then put denominator not equal to 0, and then solve. If variable is making denominator 0, then reject.
Mm.
And this has to be done for every single question on GMAT. Wherever there is an algebraic expression, you have to do this.
Okay. Okay. I'll try and follow this. Variables in denominator. How do I deal with those?
Okay. Now, the question that we were doing is x square minus 4 over x minus 2 equals to 4. This is similar to or is same as 4 times x minus 2.
Yeah.
The answer to the question on the left is no real solution, and answer to the question on the right is x is equal to plus 2.
Yeah. Basically, in the one on the left, you are keeping keeping the things on either side of the variable makes the difference on the left. Like,
Yes, so it is basically that we have a denominator which is having variables, and the variable actually gets equated to 0. The
yeah.
variable is actually making the operation, the denominator is 0.
Yeah.
So that is why we cannot solve this question. This makes sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Now a very similar question. How you should do a question like this in question number 223.
Sorry, question number
223.
223. Sorry, sometimes your voice breaks up. X has how many possible values? Is the answer 2?
Yes, that is right. How?
I just did quadratic formula.
Okay.
I did minus b plus minus root over b square minus 4ac.
Okay.
Yeah.
But okay. The point is to solve it in really less time. Now, if you multiply, we know that there is a variable in the denominator, and that is why they have this question. So they want us to check if there is a denominator, right?
Yeah.
Now, once we check that we have a denominator, we put x is equal to 0. X should not be basically equal to 0.
Hmm.
That is, variable should not be equal to 0. So
Yeah.
we do this and then we start solving it. How to solve? We have to multiply by x. So 5x minus 6 is equal to x square, right?
Yeah.
Now, if we try and see x is equal to 0, then the equation will not be satisfied.
Yeah.
That means x is equal to 0 cannot be the solution. And if it is not the solution, then this being a quadratic, we should have solutions.
X is equal to 0 is not a solution. So,
Now, step one is we figured out that denominator, a variable in the denominator.
yeah.
So we put that denominator not equal to 0. That means x should not be equal to 0.
Yeah.
Now, x has how many possible values? Basically, we need to solve this quadratic for x. The moment we multiply entire equation by x, we get this 5x minus 6 equals to x squared. Now, we know that x should not be equal to 0. That is why what we can do is we can put equal to 0 to see if this is satisfying the equation or not.
Okay.
We put x is equal to 0, we get minus 6 is equal to 0.
Which is, yeah.
That means the equation is not satisfied by 0.
Yeah.
Therefore, 0 is not one of the solutions of this equation.
Yeah.
And if 0 is not the solution, then we will have two roots.
Am I missing something? Why, if 0 is not a solution, then we will have two roots.
0 is not the solution means denominator is not equal to 0.
Yeah.
If we have proved that denominator is not a solution, denominator equal to 0 is not a solution, then we will have two roots.
Okay. Okay.
For example, in this question, x square minus 4 over x minus 2 equals to 4. We know that it should not be x should not be equal to 2. So we multiplied, so we get x square minus 4 is equal to 4x minus 8. Now if we put x equals to 2, we get 0 equals to 0.
Yeah.
So this is x is equal to 2 is the solution of the equation. X is equal to 2 is actually satisfying the equation.
Yeah.
Therefore, it is a solution. So we have to solve it completely. But in the question 2 to 3, we have figured out that x is equal to 0 is not one of the solutions.
Yeah.
So this being a quadratic, we should have two solutions.
Okay. That makes sense.
Okay, got it. So on the GMAT, it should be that you don't always have to follow a traditional solving the question till the last and then answer the question. You
Hmm.
just have to figure out ways in which you can answer it much faster. I'll show you a few more questions. Okay.
Actually, in this topic wise one, you've written OG13, but it's the same as OG15, right?
Yes, OG 13 and 15, basically 15 is a reprint.
Yeah.
And the next edition, that is 17. So in these books, they have added like 10, 15 new questions.
Okay.
More or less, these books are the same. Even 15 and 16 are the same.
Okay.
Okay. Now, how can you do question number 162?
Is 5 to k less than 1000? 625 is what? 5 to the power of 4.
Yes.
So that we know. And
Hmm.
then the next value becomes,
3125.
yeah, so that means the highest power can. Question is k equal to 4 or not? Or
Less,
actually, like,
4 or less.
yeah,
Yes. So that is the right way of doing this. So you should actually raise the question to say, is k less than or equal to 4?
yeah.
Correct.
And so 1 seems sufficient.
Okay.
But actually, no, 1 second. 5k is greater than. Actually, k could have any value in this, right? Because any value greater than um, k could be equal to 4, 5, 6.
Correct.
Yeah. And then this statement 2 says that 5k over 5 is equal to 5k minus 500. Mm. In the second one, am I just solving it?
Now that is a very good question. Now what do you suggest? Do you need to solve this or not?
Probably not.
That is right. Very good. And why?
If you know that um, 5k minus 1 is 5k minus 500. Let's see. So the minimum that you're going to need between k and k plus, I mean k minus 1 and k
Hmm.
is going to be like it's
So basically, the second statement is saying the difference between consecutive powers of 5 is
is
500.
500.
So
Yeah.
when will that happen? When it is 125 and 625. So 5 cube and 5 to the 4.
Yeah.
But still the point is you can get the value of k. But do you need the value of k to answer this question? From statement 2, do you actually know the exact value?
Um, I don't know actually. I think
Okay.
I'm getting confused now.
Now, let's say we have identified 4. What do we get? 5 to the 4 less than 1000?
Yeah.
Yes, it is less than 1000. Let's say we get 3. 5 to the 3 less than 1000? Yes, it is less than 1000.
Yeah.
And get 5. Then is 5 to the 5 less than 1000? No, it is not less than 1000. Every single time we have a definite answer. Whatever the value of k is, we will have a definite answer every single time because this is an equation, not an inequality. In case of inequality, we can have multiple possibilities.
Hold on. But doesn't the answer change?
Answer changes, but the point is whatever value of k, for that particular value of k, you are giving a definite answer. I am just giving you hypothetical scenarios. Okay, if k is 3, then what is the answer? If k
Yeah.
is 10, then what is the answer? Once you have the value of k from this equation, you will have a definite value of k.
Okay.
Now, once you have that value, you can find a definite value of 5 to the k.
Yeah,
We
that's
actually
true.
need this. So once we know the value of k, we will have a definite value of 5 to the k.
Yeah.
So we can give a definite answer to the question asked.
Yeah.
We don't need to solve the equation. We just need to know we are given an equation. We will be getting a value. That means we can answer, give a definite yes or a definite no to the question.
Hmm.
The whole idea is that we should be able to give a definite answer to the question.
Answer. Okay.
Statement 2 will always give a definite answer.
Yeah. So it's sufficient.
So it is sufficient, correct.
Hmm.
This makes sense?
Yeah. It's a little confusing though, but okay.
But you are clear why we can answer from statement 2.
Yeah, because it gives us a definite yes if depending on what the value of k is, or a definite no
So the
depending.
whole idea is to understand that from statement we will get a definite value of k.
Yeah.
If we have a fixed value of k, we know we are comparing is a, where a is a fixed value less than 1000.
Hold on, can I ask you something? In the second statement, any as soon as k becomes 5, what happens?
if we can give value of k as 5, then we can give a definite answer. No, not less than 1000.
Yeah, because it becomes yeah, k is equal to 5. Yes.
And if we are getting a value which is less than, for example, 4, then we can say, is 625 less than 1000? Yes,
Yes.
625 is less than 1000.
Yeah.
But whatever value of k we get, based on that value, we will get a fixed value of 5 to the k.
Okay.
So we are interested in only giving a definite answer to the question asked.
Hmm.
This makes sense?
Yeah. Yeah. Now it does.
Okay, perfect. Okay. How will you answer question number 160?
Hmm. Obviously, statement 2 is insufficient. Statement 1 is
Correct.
to a is equal to 2 to the power of n plus 1 and b is equal to 3 to the power of n plus 1. So the question as per statement 1 is the value of 3 to the power of n plus 1 minus 2 to the power of n plus 1 at least equal to twice of 3n minus 2n.
Yeah. So how can we rephrase this question? Is 3 to the n plus 1 minus 2 to the n plus 1 greater than
Greater
or
than,
equal to?
yeah, greater than or equal to 2 times 3n minus 2n.
Yes.
Yeah, now I think how should I put value put
So we can maybe continue with the expression or the question expression in the question. So that will be 3 times 3 to the n minus 2 times 2 to the n
yeah,
greater than equal to 2 times 3 to the n minus 2 times 2 to the n. So 2 times 2 to the n cancels both sides.
yeah,
So the and 2 times 3 to the n we can take on the other side. From positive it will turn to negative. So we get 3 times 3 to minus 2 times 3 to the n. So is this greater than equal to 0? So we can take 3 to the n common. 3 minus 2 is 1. So the question essentially becomes, is 3n greater than equal to 0?
yeah,
Which will always be true because n is a positive integer. We are given that.
yeah,
Make sense?
yeah,
So we actually do not need the equation statement 2 at all.
yeah.
Statement 1 alone will answer the question.
Hmm. Statement 1 is sufficient. Hmm.
Yes, correct. And what about 164?
Hmm. If x is so statement one, if x is less than zero, y can't be less than zero.
That is true. Very good.
Hmm. And in statement two, if x is we don't know.
Now, the best way to solve questions like these is on the number line. So before we discuss that, what is the answer if y minus x is less than 0?
Okay, and x is a negative number.
Hmm.
So then y has to be greater.
Why?
Um, because the value of minus x becomes a positive number.
Hmm.
And so for the entire expression to be less than zero, uh, doesn't y have to be doesn't y have to be a negative number?
Yes. Y must be a negative number from this. And so that means statement 2 alone, in this case, statement 2 also will answer the question.
Yeah.
Now, what does the difference between the two numbers mean? If you are given a minus b is less than 0, what does it mean?
That the difference between two numbers is less. I mean, is that a is greater than? Actually, I don't know.
Okay. Now, let's first remove this. Now, difference between two numbers on the number line, it is important to understand that whenever the difference between the two numbers is asked, if it is less than 0, then in this a minus b less than 0 means a is on the left of b
Oh, okay.
on the number line. And when we are given a greater a minus b greater than 0,
Mm.
then a is on the right of b on the number line. Any number that is on the right of another number is always greater than b.
Yeah.
So a is here greater than b, and in this case b is greater than a. Number on the right is always greater than the number on the left, whether we are in the positive territory or in the negative territory, or one number is on positive, another is on negative. Any number on the number line, if it is on the left, it is small number on the right.
And here we don't have to think about where 0 is, right?
Don't have to, correct.
Mm.
It is clear that if the number lies on the left, it is smaller.
Yeah. So in the second case, y minus x is greater than 0 means,
Y is greater than X.
yeah,
So that means we are given that X is less than 0, means 0 is here and X will where here.
yeah,
Y minus greater than 0 means Y can be anywhere in this territory. It
yeah,
can be here, it can be here, it can be here, anywhere. So it does not answer the question whether it is greater than 0 or
greater,
not.
yeah, yeah. So 0 is not like, yeah, I understand.
Okay, perfect. We will discuss the number line in greater detail when we do inequality absolute values.
Mm.
How will you solve 67?
What is the value of integer n when you know that the product of two consecutive numbers is 6? Okay, that's one. And the second one is 2 to the power of 2n is equal to 2 to the power of 4. Is it D?
Okay. Uh,
Um,
so how are you getting D?
I'm sure there's like a trick to this one. Obviously, when you solve them both, you know that 2 into 3 is 6. But
Okay. So it is very, very important that whenever you are doing a sufficiency question, back of your mind, you should always be thinking to reject the statement.
yeah, so
That's
the
not gonna answer.
first one you can reject the statement by
Hmm.
taking n is equal to minus. Can you do it? Minus 2. Hmm. Yeah, can you reject the statement in?
So we are given that it is integer n. We
Yeah,
don't know it is positive or negative. If I take n is as negative 3, n plus 1 will become negative 2.
yeah, it works.
So negative 3 times negative 2, we will get positive 6. So it can be this or
Or
n can be 2 as well.
yeah, so it gives you two values.
So we are getting two distinct values here.
Mm,
So statement 1 cannot answer the question.
yeah,
What about statement 2?
I mean, I'm getting n is equal to 2, but maybe there's another.
Now n can be so 2 to the x is 16. 16 is 2 to the 4. We have to simply equate these two. So
Yeah.
x is equal to 4, that is 2n is equal to 4,
Mm,
or n is equal to 2. If n any other value, for example negative territory, then on the left hand side of the equation we will have 2 raised to power something negative equals to 16, which is not possible
yeah.
because 16 is 4. So negative cannot be equal to 4. So n must be positive in statement 2.
Mm. So 2 is sufficient.
2 is sufficient, correct. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is uh, pretty much everything about algebra. If you have any doubts, we can discuss those, or we can move to arithmetic.
Um, I mean, I guess we can move to arithmetic. Only thing is, I think the doubts will come when I'm doing the questions. Uh, so hopefully this week I'll be able to focus more on questions.
Okay.
So I'm sure I'll have doubts in that. Just figuring out like doing questions my way and then thinking of like what is the most efficient way to do this.
Yeah, the objectives, because in the official guide, barring a couple of questions, excuse me, none of the questions can take more than a minute.
Yeah, that's the whole. It's just about like cracking.
Yes. So building that logic is actually far more important.
Yeah, I mean, there's no point in seeing a question and immediately solving the quadratic.
Absolutely not.
That's
So
it.
the moment you see a question, you should give yourself maybe another 5, 10, 15 seconds to figure out what should be the best possible way to approach this problem.
Hmm.
Then you will, once you think about the question, maybe for 5, 10 seconds, you will figure out a way.
Yeah.
So that should always be your approach. Okay. So you want me to start with the arithmetic?
Yeah, maybe you can just start a little bit and then, I mean,
Okay.
time.
No, I'm perfectly fine. If you want to stop the session now, even that is fine. So half an hour is left from the last session as well, and
We
another
can keep a track
20 minutes
like
from this as well.
20 minutes in this one.
Yeah. So what I can do is I can send you an email. We have done 50 minutes less,
Yeah.
so we can keep track of it.
Yeah, I can keep a track, no problem. And then I was just saying, I don't know, the when I'm in Delhi, I'll be in Delhi from the 23rd until the 3rd. So
Hmm.
I definitely want to do classes the week of the 29th.
Okay.
Sorry, the week of December 26th, but you tell me your availability.
So I am available for sure, because most of my students are writing the test from 28th to 2nd of Jan. So I have to be available. So I'm available. So you can maybe figure out. Uh, just give me a heads up of a week. If you're planning for the classes, then it's fine.
No, up to
Um,
next class, let's just do next week because right now I really need to focus on finishing questions on number properties and algebra before we continue.
okay. So
You know, the
when
abhi aap let's just discuss the date right now for the next class.
okay. So today is 21st.
Yeah.
So tomorrow you will be traveling.
Yeah, yeah. I'm reaching Delhi at like 3 o'clock on Friday, 3 p.m.
Yeah. So maybe we can take a break on Friday.
Yeah. And maybe we carry on next week. So 26th and maybe, yeah, 26th, let's do that.
26th is fine.
Yeah, 5 p.m. or 4:30.
So 26th we can do 5 p.m. So either 5, maybe around 3, 10, 15 minutes before 3, maybe 2:45.
Okay. Okay, well, let's do 2:45 then.
Fine.
Okay, I'll just
So
send you a message right now.
Yeah. So just send me a message for 2:45, and then we can connect on Monday the 26th.
Okay. And then another thing, if you could please just email the other
Yeah,
instructions.
yeah, yeah. Please mention that on the email as well. So I just want
Email or WhatsApp?
anything is fine.
Email, verbal.
I tend to forget things because of the schedule. Now, I have fortunately, since we finished 20 minutes earlier, so I have a break of like 15 minutes. Otherwise, I
Okay.
have classes till 1:30 in the morning.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, so that is why I
It's
sometimes. So
really hard to find time to do other things.
yeah,
Okay, fine. And then I'll also just make the payment for the next 5 classes from here because I don't want to. I don't know if my Bank of America, that the login stuff. So I'll try and do that soon.
sure, no problem.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I'll see you on 26th then. Bye bye. Have a good day.